Did you know that in most modern digital cameras there's a setting that a lot of photographers leave on as default, thinking that it's going to help them to get better, sharper photographs, when in reality it could be doing quite the opposite? In this video, I'm going to reveal what that setting is and help you to not make the same mistake with one quick, simple fix. The setting in question is image stabilization. Now, depending on the type of kit you're using, your camera might deal with this stabilization in a variety of different ways. A lot of modern cameras these days have what's known as in-body stabilization, or actually in-body image stabilization. They had to add the image, so the acronym was IBIS rather than IBS, which of course is a different problem entirely. This in-body image stabilization works with a series of gyroscopes surrounding your camera's sensor. Think of it a little bit like a gimbal built into the body of your camera. As the camera picks up your subtle movements as you're trying to take a photograph, it will echo the movements of your camera's sensor. So, although the camera might be moving ever so slightly, the sensor is staying pretty still. This helps you to get sharper, better photographs when you're using slower shutter speeds and hand holding the camera. If your camera doesn't have in-body image stabilization, then you might be able to achieve a similar effect through stabilization in the lens itself. This is usually signified by a little switch on the side of the lens, which is often labeled VR for vibration reduction. If you're using image stabilization built into the lens, this is working by realigning the glass lens elements in order to redirect the photograph sharply onto your camera's sensor. Again, perfect for if you're using slower shutter speeds and hand holding the camera, especially with telephoto focal lengths. A lot of cameras these days also have what's known as electronic image stabilization. This works by using software built into the camera to crop in to the sensor and then realign the picture to where it's most stable. To be honest, this is usually used more for videography rather than stills photography, but in some cameras it's an option in both. Again, this can be useful, especially when you are videoing something, to make sure that your footage remains stable and not jittery as you are hand holding the camera and filming your subject. A lot of cameras will also use a combination of these different image stabilization methods in order to get the most stable, sharp photograph that the camera can possibly produce. So, at this point, you're probably thinking, Tom, that all sounds pretty decent to me. Why on earth would I want to turn off a setting in my camera that's helping me to get sharper, more stable photographs? Well, there are two common denominators that I've mentioned in each of the different methods that we've talked about, and they are slower shutter speeds and hand holding the camera. It's when we're not hand holding using slower shutter speeds, when if we've got image stabilization switched on, then problems quickly start to arise. Let's take using a tripod as an example. Even subtle movements, as subtle as the shutter firing or a little bit of wind, sorry, we are talking about image stabilization and not IBS again, just to be clear. But even these subtle movements can offset the gyros ever so slightly, or the lens elements if you're using vibration reduction. Such is the sensitivity of these methods. It can actually have the opposite effect of what you're trying to achieve by using the tripod in the first place. Also, if you are hand holding the camera using faster shutter speeds, then the movement of the gyros or the lens elements can actually be caught as they're moving through at that shutter speed and create a more blurred movement effect, therefore not making your photographs any sharper or indeed any more stable. And in the case of electronic image stabilization, then things can look really messy if you're on a tripod. Take this footage that I took of my video that I released last week, where I inadvertently left the image stabilization on. Notice how me and the camera that I'm holding are staying pretty steady, but the background is sort of warping and moving around. It just looks very unprofessional. Sorry about that. I think that footage is a really good example of how, when image stabilization is not used properly, it can all become a little bit of a car crash. It goes to show that image stabilization, whether it's inbuilt into the camera or in our lenses, is not an all photograph fix all setting. Therefore, if we leave it on as default, then for some of our photography, we might see detrimental effects. The way that I think of it is that if I'm using a tripod, that's my stability. I don't need anything else. If I'm using faster shutter speeds, then I'm using shutter speeds that are fast enough to freeze movement anyway, so I don't need anything else. Don't get me wrong, image stabilization comes into its own when you're hand holding the camera at slower shutter speeds or hand holding the camera using telephoto focal lengths. But for everything other than those scenarios, it might just be getting in the way. Just like the majority of other settings on the camera, image stabilization is not necessarily meant to be left on as default, because as we've found out, it doesn't suit all types of photography. So my advice is, if you're hand holding the camera using slower shutter speeds or hand holding the camera with telephoto focal lengths, then switch it on. For everything else, you just don't need it, so switch it off. Because if you leave it on, it might be having that detrimental effect on your photographs. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, then please give it a like. And if you want to take your photography learning further, why not watch this video next? I look forward to seeing you in the next one, but until then, it's bye from me for now. See you soon.